Okay,
Can
so
you?
hi everybody. Today we have the pleasure to stay here with Neil Adams from Great Britain. And I think you don't need very much a big presentation because everybody know his career as an athlete, as a coach, and now also working at EGF and also as a commentator. So how is going, Neil?
Everything going well, and just preparing now. Well, prepared for the World Championship, for the Olympics. Yeah, we finished the World Championships, and of course, yeah, the Olympic Games is well, Friday I leave, and then probably a week from now everything begins. So
Mhm.
not long,
No, that's
but
good.
it's a strange one because we've had the World Championships, Olympic Games, all within 3-4 weeks of each other. So it's going
Yeah,
to be a
yeah.
very different one.
After a few months, we maybe at home now too much work, yeah, in this part of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's crazy, isn't it? We've had a situation where everybody's been kind of calm, and we've had to, in some ways, take a rest. And now it's everything. Everybody's working,
That's good.
which is
Okay,
good.
first in this interview, the idea is just to talk about the last results in the World Championship and also maybe talk about the Olympics. So, just talking about the last World Championship in Hungary, how do you think about the results? Do you think in the Olympics the result is going to be so different? Because you know that some of the countries didn't join with the top teams, or also many athletes qualified don't need to go to the last competition. So, what do you think about your predictions?
I think that the Olympic Games will be. I think it will be a different result. I can't see many that performed well at the World Championships. I think that they will have a real. It will be very difficult for them to perform the same 3-4 weeks later. Very, very difficult. But I think there one or two athletes could. I think Agbeg Nunu will be there. I think she will be very difficult to beat on whatever day she turns up. I think that she's going to be very difficult. I think that, of course, many of the Japanese sent their number twos, that number two team that became world champions that won't be fighting at the Olympic Games.
Hmm.
So fresh Olympic team for the Japanese, and one or two fighters, Muki from Israel, he didn't want to go. Obviously, Teddy Renier. That's we never know what's going to
Hmm.
happen there now with the heavyweight division. Yeah, I think it's going to be different. I think that also the Olympics produces different results than any other event. I think any other world event. I think it's a very different possibility. But I think the ones that won world titles will have a real problem to do the same at the Olympic Games.
Okay, as a Spaniard, I hope we have a good result, like the same like in the last World Championship. And also, I saw that the Georgian they did a good performance. So, do you think
Yeah.
other teams after the world competition you find it stronger, or what do you think about the last results?
I think some teams, like I say, I think that, if you look at 48 kilograms, Villa didn't do it, but I think she's going to be finding it very difficult. So I think three fighters now have found, have beaten her recently. I think that the 48 kilos will be wide open. And I think that anybody's match at 48 kilograms, 52 kilos, I think that certainly for me, the Abe will be very difficult to beat. She wasn't at the World Championships. Kel Mende, she's on her last kind of big event, and I
Mhm.
think she has such a courage that she will always be a contender. But Bouchard, she's difficult, 52 kilos. So it's anybody's. Abe, I think, is going to find it difficult, 66 kilos. I think that um, Lombardo will be there roundabout. I think he's a fantastic fighter.
Hmm.
I think that Abe is better for him than Mariama. And I think that Ono, difficult to beat. I can't see anybody beating Ono.
Yeah, quite difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just don't see anybody beating. And Matic again at 70 kilograms, great performance in World Championships. Can she do the same again? She'll find it difficult to do the same. And I think that 70 kilos will be different. Of course, plus 78, Asahina's not fighting, so that anybody could win the plus 78s out of probably 5, 6 people. Ortiz, um, and just looking now at the ones, who else have we got? At heavyweights, ladies, we have different. Sonne is fighting, isn't she? So Sonne, possible, could win it. Ortiz is there. So heavyweight ladies, I think Wagner will, she probably has a good chance to, she's getting better and better at 78 kilograms. So I think she has a good chance of doing the same. Of course, new world champion. So yeah, different categories. Klimke, can she win again? She has, it's going to be very difficult for her to win again. If it was me, if I won the world championships 1 week, would I be able to win it? I'd be there, always there, probably a medalist, but to win 2 big tournaments like that back to back, very, very difficult.
Okay, and I would like to ask, because this year was really complicated for all the countries, but it's true that not all do the same. Some of them maybe they can train all the time. Other countries were locked down and they had many problems to follow the training and also for join some competitions. Do you think some countries can take some advantage about that, or what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons that I think that the results will come from different places. Saying that, and that some of the countries that are performing well at the moment, they seem to have found verandas somewhere. Some of the smaller countries have found it very, very difficult, for sure. And you see it in the qualifying events, in the Grand Prix, Grand Slam tournaments. The form was, no condition, no judo condition, no randori. You see it in their eyes. You see it, and 1 minute into every contest, very difficult for them to breathe. So I think for many of the smaller countries, it's been very difficult for randori, especially the ones where it's closed borders. They cannot get out of the country. It's been very difficult. So hopefully, now that it's beginning to relax, I think that they will have better condition at the Olympic Games. And, you just look at the countries that have been performing, Russian states, of course, and the France have been having good randoris, obviously. Russia have had good randoris. Mongolia have a good unit. Israel have a good unit, where everybody trains together. So the ones that have been in a small closed unit with their, not security, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, with the bubble, so they're the ones that have been lucky. Other than that, difficult.
And what about the Great Britain, the Great Britain team? Because I checked that they have 6 athletes qualified, 5 girls and 1 guy. What do you think? What do you expect for this team in this Olympics?
There's probably 3 of them. I think 2 or 3 that have realistic chances of outside chance of medal. I think, and other than that, I think that they'll be out there to win medal, to win matches, and to gain as much experience as they possibly can. And I'm hoping that they can maybe get a couple of medals. So I think it's difficult for them, but I think that it's countries like us, that will have a chance here at the Olympics. The Olympics will be a better event than the World Championships, probably.
Yeah, I also checked the results. I saw that Great Britain, they have 1 medal, in the last Olympics and 2 medals in London. So, but I showed also that they never won the gold medal. Yeah, I always believe that
I know.
Great Britain. Yeah, I hope
I know. You
very
know,
soon they can get the
let's
medal.
hope so. You can only hope. You know, it's one of those things. And you know, I was a favorite for the Olympic gold 2 times, and it never happened. The Olympic Games is a very strange event. Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it's a good event for you, and you know, so I have many of my friends that have had a really great Olympic Games. Not so good in other tournaments, but great Olympics. So it is a strange one.
Okay, so talking about the Olympic Games, about the results of Japan, that okay, maybe everybody think that is the favorite. Yeah, also playing at home always looks more easy for them. Yeah. So last few weeks ago, I was talking with Kasawasaki because now he's in China, and asked him, hey, what do you think about your team, Japan team? What do you think about the? And he told me that he wished they got 5 gold medals. What do you think? Can you predict some results for Japanese team?
I think a lot will depend on the first 2 days of competition, and I think that 60 kilos. The last time they won the gold medal at 60 kilos was through Nomura, and that was in the 90s and 96, I think. I think that he he finds it difficult against Europeans, so it's a difficult one for him. And I think that Tanaki as well, she has possibility. She's beaten Billided, and so those two will, you know, depend. I mean, if they start with 2 gold medals, then they will have a different Olympic Games, I think.
Hmm.
Because if they win those two first gold medals, then they have a chance 52 kilograms with the you know, and 66s with the brother sister and with the Abbes, and then 4 gold medals would really put them well. But it could all work the opposite way. If they have a bad first two tournaments, 2 categories, then the next two don't go their way as expected, then it could be very difficult for them. Just because they're on home ground, we've seen before that very strong Japanese teams don't always have it their own way.
Hmm. What about the team event? Do you think any country can beat the Japanese playing at home?
No, I think that no, there's no way that I think the Japanese are clear favorites in the team
Yeah,
for
yeah, I
sure.
think it's quite difficult, but we'll see what happens. That's good.
Yes, sure.
Hmm.
Well, you know, like I said, you know, competitions are difficult, and and anything can happen in teams. You know, they can. You know, you'll have the best team on paper. It's not always the best team on paper. The interesting thing is that they don't always put the best team on paper out. Japan.
Hmm.
Japan don't always put the best team on paper. So sometimes we see a team coming out, and we think, well, who you know, and I'm looking down the list at the people, and they're number 3 in 73 kilograms, or number 3 fighter in, you know, certain categories. Not always the best one on paper, but they always produce good results.
Okay, I also would like to ask because I checked the results in Rio, and a total of 26 countries get the medal. I mean, 26 different countries. Do you think in this Olympics is much easier for more countries to, because you know that the judo is developing in many countries, many European countries, maybe they have a small team but really good athletes, or do you think maybe because of the virus, maybe just a stronger team that, as you tell before, they train in a bubble. Maybe they have more chance to get more medals. What do you think about?
I think the medals will be all over the place. I do think that it's a big advantage here, I think, for smaller teams. And I think that everything lends itself, you know, just because the Olympics, I mean, Japan have every advantage. They have the Olympic Games on home soil, they have home advantage. Home advantage doesn't always work for you, not always. Sometimes it works against you. You know, home advantage can be a lot of pressure, and you know, Look at the football, just, you know, England had home advantage, Wembley, the pressure was immense, you know, the incredible pressures. So they have to make sure that they perform well, but also they have to make sure that they have the right selection for the team. And I think that that people have had to qualify, and that's been difficult. But I think that once we have the first, I mean, interesting as well, the 73 kilograms and the heavyweights, men, the owner will be in, no, he's not seeded. So he's just going to go anywhere. And also, Renier is going to go in as well, anywhere. He's just going to go in. So he'll have to do the first round, and both fighters will have to do first round matches, and anybody could have them. So that's going to be a surprise. But, you know, it's a little bit of a lottery.
Yeah, it's complicated to predict the results sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It's very
Yeah,
difficult.
very difficult. I also would like to ask now about the referee, because I know that you are in the referee commission as uh,
Yes.
advisor, or I don't know exactly how is your post, but you are for in the IGF. So I would like to ask you, what do you think about the new rules in judo? Do you think it helps the spectators to understand, or maybe it's more difficult, or what do you think about the new
No,
rules?
I think it's generally gone in the right direction. I like it. I mean, it was getting too much like wrestling. You know, there was too much leg grabbing and leg people taking the legs. And I think that the decision was that, you know, the IOC said to the IJF, you have to do something. You know, it looks to me like wrestling with jackets, with the kimono. And so you have to do something, make it change. So the best way was to make it to stand up, you know, and I like it more. I personally like it because it creates more opportunities to learn, you know, how to do classical judo like uchimata and you know, stand up judo, defending from the hips, resisting, you know, so any defense. And look at the different techniques that have come as well from some of the countries, the wrestling countries especially, from Mongolia, Georgia, and Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. You know, some of the techniques that have come out of it have been a real good development for exciting judo. So I think it's a good thing. I'm very happy with it. I would like to see a harder, stronger Wazari. That's me. That's my own view. I don't think that, you know, the Wazari, when they changed the Wazari, they changed it and made it big. It's a big Wazari, too big, maybe. And one of the problems is many people say, oh, you know, a Wazari is not the same as it used to be, which of course it isn't. It's not the same. It's different because it incorporates Koka and Yuko, and so it's bigger. But I think if we made a stronger Wazari, it would make it even easier. I think the most difficult thing for me at the moment is when people immediately go to front, you know, and sometimes, and two of those can win a match. And for me, that's not strong enough. It needs to be stronger. I think the Ippon is in a good place. I like that. The Ippon is good. And that is strong. We make the Wazari strong, and we have a really good, strong rule set. That's my opinion.
And also, I would like to ask about the referee rules. About the, you know, do you think that now the referee, they have more power to decide who is the winner? Because sometimes, you know, the Sido, many matches go to golden score. Yeah, they finish with the Hante. So do you think it's better, or do you think it's the same like before about the, you know?
Well, I think, you know, as we saw, it depends on interpretation. If you see some mats, we have more golden scores sometimes on one mat, and then on this mat, not so many. And so it's all about interpretation. So I think that the main job for the supervisors and for the commission is to make sure that we have consistent times, you know, consistent refereeing. And it's interesting because you cannot make somebody throw somebody. So how do you decide if two people don't attack? What do you do? How do you do it? Do you penalize them so they do attack, or do you just let them carry on? It's difficult. Or do we have hand tie again? These are some of the questions that will come up. There are too many golden scores. Is it because the competitors are too close to each other? Too many good people? You cannot make somebody throw. As a referee or as a supervisor, if I put two people together and they don't throw each other, then what do? You have to penalize for something.
Mhm.
So it is difficult. It's a difficult situation.
And as a commentator in the TV, do you think is easier to understand for the spectators, maybe for people that maybe don't do judo? Do you think the new rules is makes you understand better the sport or not? What do you think?
I think, you have a wazari, two wazaris make an ippon. That's good. But like I said to you, I think we could have a clearer, when I'm commentating, if my advantage as a commentator is that I have knowledge of judo, so I tell you a story of the guys that are fighting, and maybe possibility of this technique or this technique. So that is an advantage for me. If I was non-judoka, then it would be more difficult to read,
Mhm.
especially if it goes into golden score. If we have a golden score situation. Can I ask you a question? I'm asking you a question now. What
Mhm.
would you do to change the Shido situation, golden score situation? What would you do?
No, for me the problem sometimes. Okay, I understand you that you told before that if the two athletes they are fighting and nothing happens, of course you need to
Yeah,
do something, yeah. But I think that the problem sometimes, or I feel as a coach, that sometimes it's not the same one sido in the first minute, like in the second minute, in the last minute, you know. So this is the problem that sometimes you make an action that maybe is a false attack, but depends when in which part of the fight you're doing this attack is Sido or not, or also depends on which referee. So this is the problem that sometimes it's difficult to teach
I,
your athletes how to do, or you know.
I agree with you 100%. And it's the consistency of the referees that is the most difficult thing
Yeah.
to do. Like I say, one tatami, we can have 10 golden scores, and on the other one, two. And, like you said, you give the Shido too early, it changes the whole contest. And also, you need time to develop. One of the big things for me as a supervisor is that if I pull a referee or I say, look, we need to change this, it's to give time, a little time, not too much time, but
Mhm.
time to, from the kumakata, one hand on, two hands on, give time to set up the time for attack. Because if you give the Shido too early for that, then you have no attack. It's impossible to attack.
Mhm. Yeah,
If Iliad it takes his kumakata on you and takes your sleeve and over the back, it's very difficult to attack.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also maybe the other problem that sometimes when you about the Sido is that it's very difficult for the coaches because sometimes you are teaching some your athletes, and before, for example, when you make something wrong, maybe okay, when the referee when they have three referees in one match, okay, maybe if the principal referee makes something wrong, okay, the two referee in the chair they change. But now, for example, maybe not in international level, but in national level, sometimes when the referee make a small mistake, yeah, maybe they see there's no Sido, but okay, doesn't matter. They don't use the video just to change the decision. But maybe later this Sido makes you lose the match. Maybe in international level is different because they have of course the level of the referee is much better. Also, maybe they have take decisions more. But in national level, for me, or yeah, in province competition, I think this system sometimes is not really good for that. I think.
I agree with you. I mean, I am in agreement that at international, I'm working with the top 20 referees in the world
Yeah.
all the time. So we have a good collaboration, good feeling. And then, when you go to the lower level and they have a different idea on Shido and different idea on what is developing as a technique or what is not developing as a technique. And that is our problem. Our problem is to educate the lower levels, which is why we need our top fighters, either go into coaching or into refereeing. I was talking to a very dear friend of mine, a guy called Tony Sweeney, who was 1964 Olympic Games for Great Britain. And he went straight directly from competition, 64 Olympics, into international refereeing. And it was either coaching or refereeing. And I think we have to make it so that our best fighters, our best fighters with the most knowledge become our referees and our coaches, for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. Well, I think that is the key. It's okay. So we can say, well, we have this level with a certain understanding. I mean, how can certain people teach kumakata if they have never felt it at high level? It's very difficult, for them to do it. They can show you how to grip, but they cannot show you the reason why. They cannot tell you the reason why, because it's something that you feel. When Iliadis or Teddy Riner takes your sleeve, you have to feel it to know why you cannot take it off. It's incredible. It's a skill. And I think that same with Newaza, we pushed and pushed and pushed for more time in Newaza. We pushed. Remember, we went through a time where there was very quick mate and back standing. And we changed that. And we pushed really, really hard that if it's developing possibility of Juji or possibility Shimiwaza, possibility of Ippon, let it continue, which is where the continuation outside of the area comes, because we needed it to continue. It needs to be able to develop. So, we need to do the same with our teaching of the lower levels, I think, of the referees. We need to get them on the tatami. We need to give them more, it's, I think, one of those things that it's a feel. To go to the highest level, they need to feel it.
And also the last topic I would like to ask you is about the judo statistics, because other sports, the statistics are well developed, maybe because they have more professional sport, they invest more money. And in judo, sometimes we didn't use before, maybe because nobody do it, or maybe because it's hard work, no? But now some websites like judodata.com, I was talking with the guy who developed this system to make the statistic about all the top competition. And I think is interesting, just not okay, of course, for the coaches to work with the technical aspects, but also maybe as a commentator, because you can have more information about the attacks, defense, how is the weakness, the strengthness of all the athletes. What do you think about it?
I like to use some stats, but I think that the statistics are good. And I think that it's like anything. It depends how you use the stats, because stats are good for people to understand, all right? So attack rate, defense rate, how many contests won, how many contests lost, how many, so these are good things that people need to know. But I think also that it's important that they know the reasons why, so in a game. For me as a commentator, I can read you the results of every athlete. So I can tell you, Ono has won 3 world championships. He's won 3 Asian games, gold medals. He's done this, done that, but actually, also interesting is that I need to tell you what he's going to do, what he's looking for, and how he developed as a judoka, what he's going to do, what the possibility of uchimata, when he's going to do it. His favorite technique is osodagari, not uchimata. That came from him. That's what he said. He prefers osodagari, not uchimata. But he has an amazing Uchimata as well, you know. But these
Yeah,
are all interesting points, you know, interesting things that you need to know when you're doing the commentary. And just to know the game, I think to know it, and for you to have confidence in me, you know, as a commentator, is
mhm.
important for me.
Okay, Neil. So thank you so much for your interesting comments about all my questions. So I hope you have a safe trip to Tokyo, and we
Thank
are
you.
wishing to hear you in the on TV, just because we can. Also, I'm near Tokyo, but this year, because of the virus, we can't travel
You
there.
can't go.
Yeah,
No.
would be a good opportunity to go to this Olympic, but this year is complicated for everybody. So I
I
hope
think
all goes well.
how long are you in China for? How long?
No, this is my 2 years now. Yeah, 2 years now, I think.
With the family, everybody there?
No, 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 I'm alone, just with my team. My team is my family here. But you know, the judo is like a family, no problem.
Good. Well, I hope you have a great experience there, and it sounds like it's going good for you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it's
it's been
great
a pleasure.
experience, good team, and I have the support of the leaders. And yeah, I think China, they need to develop much better judo, because they have yeah, they have good athletes, they have good facilities, and he's investing a lot of money, not just in judo, in all Olympic sports. But I
Yeah,
think that they really can do a good job in the future.
fantastic. Well, good luck with it. Okay. Good
Okay,
luck.
Neil, thank you so much, and see you soon. Okay, bye.
Okay. Take care. See you, my
Bye.
friend. Take care. Bye bye now.
Bye.